Now, with the Angels of Zariman update on the horizon, hopefully next month, Warframe's focus system is getting its most comprehensive rework yet, something that we got a little glimpse of during the last dev stream. Focus has long since needed some kind of a rework or at least a touch up in game, and hopefully this will allow us to utilise each of the focus skills depending on your current build. So what do we know so far? Well, based on the last dev stream and a current dev workshop post, we know that they want each focus skill to keep or at least prioritise its very own identity, to stand out more, give you a reason to use each of the focus skills and not just the one or two that the community has been primarily using since focus was added back in 2015. But let's be real, we use them so much because they benefited us so much. The other ones weren't as useful. When this rework or change arrives with the Angels of Zariman update, you can expect all of your focus skill to be reset, so you will have all of those focus points again to spend on whichever nodes in whichever focus skill that you want to use the most. If you fill your focus skill up and you still have points left over, then there is going to be a new focus store added that will allow you to buy vanity items like decorations for your light set and so on. But on top of this, they want operator to Warframe transitions to be more fluid, which will mean Void Dash is being changed to a controlled movement and less spammy. But it's easier for me to just show you a clip from the dev stream of it in action while Rebecca explains it.
Void Dash, as you have it now, has never been great in our normal levels because you kind of just bump into walls. And now there's going to be a telegraph for you to control how far you go with your operator dash. So that's a pretty big change. It feels way better in the typical gameplay space of Warframe. It is a change though, so some people will wonder, you know, how they can maximize it.
Oh man, I love how that looks.
But it just looks
just so rad.
It looks and feels much better. And because we're making some changes to the way that your operator and Warframe work together, you can now, you know, Void Dash right up, oops, and then just go right into melee and melee attack. And the way you do that will, of course, depend on what angles you're bringing to the table, how you're actually engaging with the level that you're in, what your goal is. But because I did Oneru, so I can go in, my blast, if I want to go in right and bring melee right out, you can. It's quite a different feel.
So there is a beam of light that moves in the direction you want to dash to, and it extends in distance, I guess, the further you want to go, or maybe the longer you hold that button down. In their words, chained forward traversal is still a valid option, but it is being redesigned. However, just by looking at that clip, you can see that this does look slower than the current Void Dash, so using it to traverse missions won't be as fast, which will take some getting used to for a lot of the players who are used to using that speed to get around missions, that current Void Dash mobility. And they've also said you won't be able to spam it as much, which also brings up the question of certain arcanes that activate on transference. If it's not as spammable, will I still be able to group enemies up with that arcane like I could before? I'm going to be interested to see if that still works. Now, like every system in Warframe's history that's been reworked after years and years of us using it, this one will be no different in terms of us getting used to it. Now, they also want to improve on the operator and Warframe combat, so whenever you're in operator mode and hit your melee button, it will now bring your Warframe to you and cause a melee attack from that Warframe instead. This is replacing the current Void Blast, so this we got to see a little bit of as well during the dev stream, where Rebecca was dashing around with her Tenno and instantly popping into a Warframe and slamming down or meleeing enemies. It is definitely more fluid than what we have right now with Void Blast. Now, they also used Oneru as the example of some of the changes coming with this rework during the dev stream, since it is the least used focus school. It's the tank focus school, if you will. This is actually the first focus school that I maxed out because I like tanky things and I thought it sounded cool, but in reality it really wasn't worth it. So I'm hoping to have more of a reason to play it this time around. Now, one of the nodes they mentioned in that workshop post was how if you're using Oneru and your Tenno dies when you're out in operator mode, then while it's in that operator death animation, that floating upside down animation, it will instead pop you right back into your Warframe in your current location so that you can continue fighting, instead of sending you back to maybe the start of the mission where you first transferred out of your Warframe, which does sound like a nice little bit of a change. But that's basically all we know about these focus changes so far. They have said they're going to put up a full dev workshop post going over all of the nodes for each of the focus schools once it gets closer to it actually getting released, so that they can get feedback on what to change or what not to change. But let me know in the comment section below what you like the look of or what you don't like the look of. I'll wait and see what the changes actually bring once that full dev workshop post goes out. I will make a video on it as well. Have a great day, and as always, thanks for watching.